Hey everybody, it's Matt Schmidt, and first of all, thank you for taking your time out of your day to check out this video. I'm excited to bring you what I got here in this course that we've been putting together and we've been putting a lot of hours into. I like to call it pi scaled, and it's my little play on pi squared, and the reason for that is simply because this is about one of the campaigns that really blew a lot of people away. It doesn't matter if you're just starting or if you're an experienced seller. This is a campaign that you looked at and you thought, man, how did they do that? How did they get to that level? How did they scale that hard? Where did they even come up with the design? Where do they target? And of course, what I'm talking about is the Pi Day campaign. Now, this should look very familiar to you. If you use Teespring, if you sell shirts on Teespring, it's on the home page when you go to log in. Everybody has seen this shirt, and this is what this course, at the core of it, is about. It is over 20,000 shirts sold. Probably is just as many ripoffs, if not more. And, this is a really unique campaign because I don't know about you, but I didn't even see this thing coming. I didn't know what it was the first time I looked at it. I didn't get it, and that's really something that's cool. That's a cool perspective that a lot of people aren't even taking. We always talk about niches and going in and honing in on something that only the people within that niche would know. Well, this is like taking that concept and taking it to the next level, because 20,000 shirts sold in any market, even in the sports market, is a lot of shirts. And this is a $200,000 plus campaign. He did it all on his own. It's just him and a designer. If you don't know the guy's name, it's Albert. He's a great guy. I've been talking to him over the last couple of days, and I just started picking his brain, and we worked together, and we're coming together on this course. And we're going to bring this to the market, hopefully helping everybody out and seeing how this course was done. So I just want to go over real quick about what exactly it is you're going to learn. In Chapter 1, your customers are going to learn about the fundamentals. This is something that we always like to include into a course, but I didn't want to just go over the plain and simple things that have been regurgitated over and over again. He's got a couple cool ways of finding ideas, including how he found the Pi Day campaign idea in these videos, and that's really cool. Something that's fresh to the market, some kind of new. And the same with his market analysis and his competition analysis. Talks about how competition is a great thing. People are always talking about how, oh, is it saturated? Well, competition in this sense is a great thing, because that lets money is there, and your customers are going to get to have that rationality. They're going to understand, especially if they're newer, that competition is not something to be scared of. It's something to embrace. And of course, we're going to go over the rest of the basics to help anyone, if they're beginning, to set up correctly, and if there are, the medium seller, then they're going to get to know, hey, this is something I just need to review, something I need to staple in my brain, and then I can, expand my business and get to the six-figure plus level. Chapter 2 is the ad setup. This is where we're going to start getting into the meat of the course. We're going to start talking about his targeting methods. He does talk about audience insights as something that is similar to mine. He's got a little take on it, but his targeting outside of audience insight is great. I'm actually starting to use some of it myself. When audience insights isn't giving you what you need, he finds ways to go out and find things to target that he knows are good interests to go after. And of course, your ad setup, he's got a really, really unique way of doing this. He didn't get to 20,000 shirts sold off of just doing one ad and one ad set and so on and so forth. He's got a unique way of doing this. He tests all the time, and that sounds daunting. It's not. Remember, he's just him that's doing this, and he's getting to a level where he's hitting consistent 5 and approaching 6 figures per month just by himself, and that's really crazy. Once he takes it to the next level and gets a team, using these methods will be an easy way to get him to six-figure consistently plus level. His optimization, his report management, he's all about data. It's great. I said in my previous course that data is not the most sexy thing in the world, but money is, and reading the data in the correct way will bring in money. Retargeting, of course, is important to get done. And chapter 3, we're going to talk about scaling. again, how did he get up to 20,000 shirts sold? We're going to talk about that the metrics that he uses, the methods that he uses to do it on a day-to-day basis, and then that primes you for that opportunity for that winner to scale up, scale out, and use a lookalike audience to really grow your campaign to as many shirts as possible for your market to accept and to take in. And of course, something that I really wanted to touch on in this course, and something I asked him to put together, is funding a campaign. You know, when I had my first winner, I was wondering, how am I going to afford this if this takes off? Because I had a really good campaign. I was spending like $200 a day, which back then was an incredible amount of money. But then it got to a point where I knew I could push it to 500 or 1,000 and so on and so forth. But I didn't have that much money to spend. So how did I exactly fund that? How do you pace yourself? What's the method to do? And nobody in the market has really talked about that. Funding a campaign, when you do hit that winner, when you're prepped to hit that winner, what are the steps to take? And I think that that's important to cover for your people if they are new, again, to that medium. And, you know, that'll be great for them to have in their back pocket when the time comes, because they will hit a winner if they consistently are doing this. They will hit a winner that takes off. And then one more thing about messaging your buyers, something that's great to pull in more and more money over time. So lastly, the case studies, the Pi Day case study, the 1,000 shirts sold case study. So we're showing that this is not just about the Pi Day case study. These things do work. These methods, these metrics, everything that he's doing in this course works on a day-to-day basis, as proof to the 1,000 shirts sold case study as well. And then growing your business. How are you going to take it from your first campaign to doing this on a day-to-day basis? And again, he is just him and his designer right now on his team, and he's hitting. He hit a campaign that all of us wish we could, and he's constantly doing great numbers that is something that every t-shirt seller could aspire to. So, this is going to be something that every single t-shirt seller should want to pick up. Everybody that sells t-shirts online has seen this campaign and wondered, how was this done? If you haven't had a 20,000 shirts sold campaign, then you should want to know how this is done. And we're going to go over the top, deliver not only the case study, but for the core of the course on the Pi Day campaign. But we're going to talk about how he's doing this on a day-to-day basis. So for over a year now, how he's constantly in the 5 to 6 figure range, and how he is growing his business on a day-to-day basis. Something that everybody should be able to learn. And not only that, but for the next 3 weeks after the course, after we close down the course, we're going to take everybody into a immersion session where we're going to do 3 weeks, and each one of those weeks we're going to talk about a chapter. So chapter 1 in the first week, chapter 2 in the second week, chapter 3 in the third week, and we're going to hold everybody accountable to make sure that they are implementing everything that's going on in this course, and making sure that they're learning, making sure that they are implementing, making sure that they are trying to further their business, and that their money is put to use, and the money that they spent and the money they invested in is put to use. So I hope to have you on board. Albert and I are pumped about getting this course out. I think it's going to be something that's awesome. Everybody's going to want to pick it up, and we hope to see you on the JV list. Thank you very much. Take care. Good Schmidt.